2020 was actually a really fun art year. I had tons of time at home to just draw and explore different art styles. And that was also when I started to really grow on TikTok, sharing my art process videos and everything. So let's look at some of my 2020 TikTok faves. This one in particular is a bit of a fan favorite, this Bubbles drawing. Yes, it's Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. I was definitely in a Powerpuff Girl era when it was lockdown and 2020 and everything. I'd revisited my interest in the Powerpuff Girls, even though, let's be real, it never really went away. So yeah, I was like, well, have tons of time to myself, so may as well draw Powerpuff Girl fan art. And that's kind of how my version of the girls came about. The way I see it, you know, they were created by Chemical X, so they don't necessarily have to all look alike. And so here we have the very somewhat controversial biracial Bubbles. I don't know, that was just the artistic interpretation I decided to make. I just thought, like, I want all of the girls to look different and have different backgrounds. I didn't want them to look alike, and I'm really happy with how they all came out. But I remember this Bubbles drawing actually being my first TikTok video to kind of like pop off. But part of the reason why it popped off is because a lot of the people didn't like that Bubbles was black, and it's just like, I don't know what to tell you. That's what we do over here. So and of course it didn't stop there. This Bubbles drawing was actually part of a greater series where I drew all of the girls and I wanted them to kind of have their own like poster, kind of like in those like cartoon character CD soundtrack covers. Like I wanted to do something kind of like that. I did a little like close-up profile picture style avatar of like all of the girls. So here we have Blossom, and my interpretation of Blossom is that I made her a black girl. I kind of pictured her being like maybe Ethiopian or like Somali or something, and she still has her fiery red hair, of course. One thing I also did was I put all the girls with their character popsicle, because those popsicles would always melt. And I thought that would be like a really cute ode to nostalgia, the whole like Y2K thing, especially since Y2K was like really popular and having a bit of a renaissance in 2020. So felt like a kind of fun Easter egg to throw in there. And then here we have all of the girls together as their little pop rock Powerpuff Girls band. I thought that this was such a fun drawing. I really love doing this. This was also one of my first drawings to have a lot of like success on other platforms too. So that was really exciting. And for anyone out there who's not like a Powerpuff Girls like OG super fan, or you're just not super familiar with the franchise, Powerpuff Girls did do like a pop rock band type of thing from time to time where they would come out with their little instruments and they sang that "Love Makes the World Go Round" song. And I thought that was so adorable. I wanted to kind of make an homage to that by having the girls with their instruments and everything. And as you see, Blossom has her guitar, but instead of it being like a heart like in the show, I made it like the original Blossom design because I didn't want to completely like erase her original design. Like I felt like it would be a really cute way to like pay respects to the original design and just kind of keep it all in the, you know, in the cinematic universe. And moving into some other fan art, I did this Kim Possible fan art for Blacktober. Some people were not very happy with me when I drew this drawing, particularly on other platforms, but I didn't really care. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I love Kim Possible. Kim Possible is maybe like a top 10 cartoon for me personally. I would like, in an alternative universe, I would be Kim Possible. But I also really liked Bonnie. There was an episode that I really liked that paid a lot of attention to Bonnie's home life, where it kind of made sense why she was like the way she was, and like her sisters were super mean. And I think it was an episode where Kim and Bonnie were forced to like share the same body or something. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Why is Kim Possible black? Long story short, I drew her black because it was for Blacktober, where you take beloved characters and you interpret them as if they are black. And I thought this would be a fun character to do. Ah, yes, and then here's perhaps my most controversial drawing of all time that I've ever done. You wouldn't even believe it. Yes, it's Francine and Muffy from Arthur. Francine, I think it's very obvious that she is black. Like, she has the look. I've always kind of pictured her as maybe being like Ethiopian Jewish or something like that. Like, I don't know, it just kind of made sense to me. And I think Muffy is like maybe like mixed West African. Like she could be like Nigerian and Egyptian, or maybe even like Nigerian and white, or Nigerian and Lebanese, like maybe a common like Nigerian mix, something like that. Muffy gives that vibe. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I just had to draw them. Even without Blacktober, I would have drawn them anyways, but for some reason this drawing made a lot of people mad. People just didn't like the art style that I drew them in, which is essentially my art style, at least at the time. A lot of people just, I don't know, didn't like it, but oh well. A lot of other people did like it. So I will say more people liked it than people disliked it. Either way, I still really like the drawing, and I still really like those characters, and I love Arthur. Me personally, my favorite Arthur character is DW and Nadine. This drawing of Francine and Muffy is pretty much my interpretation of them if they existed in like the late 2010s slash like early 2020s. Like, so more like a modernized version of these Arthur characters. Muffy has a little smartphone and they're taking a selfie. It just kind of fits for them, like if you put them in this more like modern technology heavy setting where like kids have like the smartphones and take the selfies and stuff. And then you have Francine with her basketball because she was always so sporty. And then as a departure from Blacktober, I drew other things, of course, like this cute little selfie of myself in my little pandemic lockdown typical work from home outfit. Here's me with my like boba tea, iced coffee, or whatever. Does it look like me? And since the fan art and like drawing cutesy characters was kind of like getting old at that point, at least for me, I wanted to challenge myself and start drawing different types of characters and change up my rendering style. Like here I drew this like spunky grandma. In the first chunk of drawings that I just showed, I experienced a lot of growth and kind of learned a lot more about how to render and stuff. I was using pretty much only Procreate for my personal illustrations and personal art and stuff, so I decided to do another round of characters. Kind of forced me to really explore my rendering style and challenge myself a bit more to do something that's a little bit more like visual development, production, like friendly, if that makes sense. Something that shows like, hey, I can do these like tougher rendering styles, do something that like, I don't know, feels a little bit more like Spider-Verse inspired. But yeah, these were super duper fun to do. I was so proud of myself with these characters here, especially with the last girl with the fishnets and everything. I thought it was just so cute and fun at the time. And I don't know, should I get back to this rendering style? We'll see. 2020 was like kind of a Y2K resurgence of sorts, so I felt like it might be a good idea to kind of use that as practice, like use that to really lean into these new rendering styles and drawing characters in different, you know, alternative clothing, things like that. And with the Y2K buzz still going strong, I decided to revisit my Paisley project, which I've talked about a couple of times on here. And I did this really cute, like Y2K inspired, like pop-up thing where like you have Paisley in her cute little outfit doing a cute little like pose, and then she's like got her face here in like a little pop-up window. And at the time I thought I was like super focused on the Paisley project, but the funny thing is that after this I like pretty much never touched it again. But feel free to let me know if I should revisit Paisley. And pretty much from that point everything had came full circle. I pretty much took the year to challenge myself, like to become a stronger renderer and painter, digital painter, and I feel like I really achieved that in 2020. So it makes me really happy that like other people kind of see that as a standout year in my body of work. And then it all came around to me drawing my own like original character project again, because I finally kind of had the confidence to go like full steam and draw Paisley and the gang, even though I didn't really do that much drawing Paisley and the gang. But I am still glad that I was able to draw Paisley in the style that I like had imagined her the whole time, because I finally had the skills to execute it. And on the ending note for 2020, I did this really cute postcard for my coworkers at Nickelodeon. This is a really cute postcard to do. I finally developed the confidence that year to do the rendering style and art style that I'd wanted to do the whole time in my like art journey, if that makes sense. I feel like I had even grown from there, like since then. So I feel like with artistic journeys and stuff, it's never super linear. I think sometimes we come around and it can be very circular or even cyclical, where we pick up new skills and we're able to apply it to ideas that we had before, but we didn't really know how to articulate it or execute it. And then with our new skills that we pick up along the way, we can go and pick up those same ideas that we had before and finally feel like confident enough to see it through, which is what I feel I did overall. All in all, that's my work from 2020. And that's not to say that I didn't like my work pre-2020. I liked a lot of my art from 2019 as well. So if you ever want to see what my pre-2020 and pre-working professionally in animation art looked like in 2019 and like before that, feel free to let me know and we can look at my 2019 art.